Yo, class, it's Mr. O. For a guitar, I realize several of you probably don't have a guitar at home, but there are some alternatives that will help you to continue to practice even if you don't have a guitar with you at home. If you have a phone or tablet, there are a bunch of different apps that you can actually download that lets you press down where the strings would be and practice strumming. If you've got an iPad, GarageBand has a manual guitar setting that you can always look at. But if you don't have access to that, you can always go on Google and search like a guitar neck or guitar fret, and you can print that off and you can still practice where they all go, okay? That way, if you want to try and keep your skills up, that's one way to do it. So I want to start by kind of going over the anatomy of the guitar again. If you remember, we call this part up here the head. This is the neck. And this is the body of the guitar. It makes sense. It's like it's a person. Body, neck, head. No arms, no legs. Sorry, bud. Okay? This part here is the pick guard. If you've got one of these on the guitar, that's to protect the body of the guitar from your pick. So if you've got one of those, it's probably a steel string guitar. There are other guitars, nylon string guitars, which are more for using with your fingers, in which case they wouldn't have a pick guard because you don't use a pick on those strings. Okay? This part right up here is called the nut, and this part down here is called the bridge. And then each of these little lines here is a fret. And so the frets are how we measure where to put our hands. So we've got these strings here, and it's almost a math equation. I'm saying that as a son of a high school math teacher here. When I play a note, if I shorten the string, it changes the pitch of the note. And that's because there's not as much room for it to vibrate. It still has that same amount of energy. So I like to say it's kind of like if you are really slow in the morning, you're not a morning person, and you get up moving and you just kind of move around the room. But then maybe you have a really sugary cereal or some coffee or something, and man, you're just moving around the room. It's the same person, but it's got so much more movement. That's kind of the same idea on our guitar strings. The vibration is spread out, or if I make the vibration smaller, it's going really fast. You may remember I showed you that diagram where the guy puts his iPhone inside his guitar and you can see the strings vibrating. It's kind of cool. It's physics. It's called acoustics. So that's what happens when we put our fingers in different places. So you can't just pick any place, all right? It's got to be very specific. I'll upload onto the shared file that I'm going to post at the bottom of this video. I will put our diagram with the stickers, the colors that we used in class to help you out, okay? So now, having said all that, we're going to talk about two different ways that we're going to play. We're going to talk about the rhythm guitar, which is playing chords, and we're talking about the lead guitar, which is actually playing individual notes. Both are important, but there's different approaches to how we learn them. So let's start with the picking part, the lead guitar part. And we're going to begin with the string all the way down here in the bottom. Before we start that, I just remembered, if you need help tuning a guitar, don't forget I like to use Guitar Tuna. It's associated with the app called Yousician. That's Y-O-U, Zician. And it's a free app. They have the pay-for version. I don't go for that one. I'd like the free stuff. And it uses the microphone in your device to help you play. So it's a great resource. I'll post that in the comments also, okay? So we're going to start on that bottom string there. Bottom from your relation to you on the guitar. It's actually the highest pitch. That's an E. That's an E. And then I want you to take your pointer finger with your left hand. You're going to put the very end, the tip, on that first fret, and you're going to pluck that again, and you've now brought that pitch up to an F. So you have F, back down to open is E, F. That is an interval called the minor second. Sometimes it's called the jaws interval, right? Right? So we have E, and then first fret is F, and then we're going to skip our middle finger, but I want you to take your ring finger and put it on that same string on the third fret, and that's a G. So we're focusing on those three notes. E, F, G. And I want you to go ahead and practice that a lot. Get real comfortable with even those three notes. If you're not pressing hard enough, you're going to get that sound. If your finger's too flat, you might hit other strings. You want to make sure it's the tip of the finger, and you got to press down pretty hard. It may hurt a little bit. But if you keep practicing, the skin will actually get a little bit tough there, and it won't hurt anymore. So it's one of those things where you kind of got to keep going to make it easier for yourself. Now, I'll also be attaching to that page some scans from the book that we were using, and it has these three notes written out, E, F, G, on the treble clef. So it's the top space, the top line, and the space above. But you'll see that on your worksheet. And when you get that printed off, we've got numbers 7, there's 7, 8, and 9 on there. I'm going to play through those. That way, once you got them printed off, you can play along if you want to, okay? So, number 7 in your book there, it's playing an E 4 times, then it's playing an F 4 times, then a G 4 times, then F twice, E twice. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, 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 F, 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 G, 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 F, F, E, E. Nice and steady beat. Don't worry about any other rhythms yet. Number 8 on your worksheet is the same three notes, just they put it in a different order. You have E, 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 G, G, F, F, E, E, G, G, F, F, E, E. Sounds like this. Number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last one on your worksheet, number 9, same three notes again, different order. You're going to have E, F, G, F, G, F, E, E, G, F, E, G, F, F, E, E. You don't have to memorize that. Look at the sheet. It's right there. If you need to write in the notes to help you, go ahead and do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. That's our lead guitar part. Make sure you practice over that. Look at the worksheet. For our rhythm guitar part, we want to review some of our chords. So for today, let's just talk about our G chord. Hopefully you guys remember that. On the diagram, that's the red stickers. And we've got our ring finger up on the top string, 3rd fret. Our middle finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. And then our pinky on that bottom string, 3rd fret. There's a couple ways of playing a G chord. I teach it this way for a very specific reason. So if you kind of are used to doing this other one, that's fine. But for the way that I'm teaching, I prefer that you do it my way. Okay? So that's ring, middle, and pinky. And you're going to strum down. one time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now, that's strumming all 6 strings. Some of the chords we don't strum all the strings, but G we do strum all those strings, okay? Beyond that, we're going to go over a chord each class, maybe, every lesson. So make sure that you're really practicing each chord. Try not to jump ahead. I know that this is a little bit back to basics, but it's going to help you in the long run. Okay, guys? All right. Make sure you practice. Hit me up on my office hours if you end up having any questions, okay?